It's a second part of our web reports webinar. We're going to talk about the advanced report options. I hope our previous webinar was helpful for you, and I think you might have started working with web reports, right? So we come across many things in web reports. So step by step, I'm going to tell you in a couple of webinars which are scheduled. I already shared our webinar calendars for this month and also for the first week of October. So we have covered all the aspect of webinar reporting, web reporting. So let's start with advanced report options. This session is not too big, or maybe it's a 1 hour, 15 minutes webinar, because not that much to share with you today. It's a very simple thing. So today our agenda would be, we will talk about filters and parameters, right? Filter is a very helpful thing. Whenever you create a report, you need to filter it out so that only that data will come in your report which you want, right? So that is what filter is all about. Then the difference between filters and parameters, and how to use parameters as a filter, because it's very useful thing. What are the various options available in report settings? I hope you might have seen all the report settings that is there in Report Designer. Each and everything has a unique significance. So we will talk about a little bit for all the report settings. Then we'll talk about conditional formatting. So it's a very useful feature for everybody who will be designing reports, because conditional formatting is the most used thing in reports. So a lot of things you need to hide or show based upon some conditions. So we will talk about it. Some collapsible layouts. It is also a very helpful tool as far as large data reports. You can make a collapsible view for it. It's very helpful. Then we will talk about some print setup and page properties, and after that we will close with the advantage of user reports and startup reports. So this is our agenda today. So after finishing my my topic or whatever I want to share, I will give 15-20 minutes time for answering your questions, right? So whatever questions you have in your mind, please put it down in a paper and share it to me. So I will answer each and everything at the end of this webinar, right? So let's talk about filters first. Okay, let me share my screen, right? Okay. So let's talk about filters. This is the Ginesys reports, web reports that we have. And the released part, we have released few reports in finance and inventories, and lots of reports are in pipeline to be released in this month or in next month. So so what are filters? Let's run a report and show you what is filter is all about. Say for example, if I run for example a register report, right? If I open it in design stage, then there's a options is filter. I hope my screen is visible to all, right? So from there you can set many filters, whatever categories is there in the report, you can specify filters for each and every categories and each and every fields available on this category. So that is very important, that so this is the basic structure of filters. As a default, this filter window, filter dialog box will open whenever you want some filters to be prompted to the end user. So suppose I have a filter called supply name, and see there's a options called prompt for values, right? So from where I select the supply name, because it is there in my categories, PO header category, we have a supply name. Yes, here it is, supply name. And if you select it in the right hand side, then you will get many options. First of all, you have to select the operators, in by which operator it will work. So you can see, you can select that, okay, supply name equal to this, or maybe contents, right? You don't know the exact supply name, so you can select this contents, which will work like operators. Okay, so there are a lot of operators is there, you can select it. And from the values, you can select a specific values also. And if you want that the executor of this report will get a prompt for these values, for these filters, then you can select it prompt for values. This is very important. If you don't select this prompt for filters, then the report will not take any filters from the user, and it will work without filters. And one thing I must tell you, that if a report doesn't have any filters, then it might cause some performance issues, because it will fetch lots of data, and it will definitely hamper the performance of the report, and as well as it will hamper the performance of the application report server. So you must check every report that whether there is any filter is specified in the report or not. This is very important. So if you at the design stage, if you specify a filter, suppose if I specify a filter like ABC Limited in the filter report filter dialog box, see the summary. This is the summary of the filter that will be applied to the query, report query. Now, if I run this report, see the supplier name is already selected with ABC Limited, because at the design time I select it as a ABC Limited. Why this filter dialog box is coming? Because I make this prompt for values. Yes, suppose if you have created a report, suppose you have created a report for maybe some departments, suppose men's department, or maybe formal department, but your kids department, and you want that the report that you have assigned to all the department leaders or department operators, the persons who are working on that department, they only see those data which are of that department only. Suppose there are 4 people working in kids departments, and you have created few reports, and you want that report should come, that report should show all the data only for the kids department. So if they want to see the stock, or if they want to see the sale, then only the kids department data will come, right? So for that, you need to create a report, and you can specify that division as or maybe department as kids, and prompt for values no. Then this filter will not prompt to the user, so it will act as a hidden filters applied to a report, right? So this is how you can filter out reports, filter out data from in a report, and based upon the needs of the user, you can specify whether the filters can be given by the user or not. So this is very important to understand the requirement of the user, what they want in the report, and how you are going to suffice their requirement, right? So if suppose prompt for values is no, then if I run this report, it will not prompt for the values, and it will directly execute the report with the value ABC Limited and show me the data with only ABC Limited, supplier ABC Limited. See, so it doesn't show any other supplier data. So it's a hidden filter applied to the report, right? Just a minute, please. Someone is telling that the screen is not visible. The shared screen is not visible to everybody. Is it that? Please respond me that whether it is the entire screen is visible or not. My screen is visible. The entire screen is visible to everybody. Please raise your hand. If okay, fine. Maybe someone has problem with the resolutions. Maybe. Okay, let's continue with the filters. So you can add as many filters as possible. You can add as many filters because it doesn't have any limitations for filters, and based upon the filter fields, filter data type, that operators will change. Suppose if I select the uh, say net amount. Suppose I want ABC Limited data and the net amount. So I can specify whether net amount is less than or equal to or greater than, suppose 10 lakhs or 10,000, like that. So I can specify as many filters as possible in the reports. One more thing I want to specify is that it's based on the date fields, because date fields, there's a one options which is very important to know, that is, for example, order date. So if I specify a date filter, here you can specify a date, a fixed date. Suppose I want say is between, I can is between from date and to date, right? Suppose I want data from 1st of August to today, okay, 12 September 2017. And if I run this report, and if I show the prompt for values is yes or no, whatever, but every time this report will uh, show me the filters with this value only. Okay, it will never change. But I want that every time the report filter will open, it will show me the date from and date to for last 2 months only, or the last month only, right? Last 30 days only, last 40, 60 days, right? So how can I achieve that? There is a very quick functions available in the right hand side of the calendar. where you can specify a dynamic dates, which is very much helpful if you want to schedule a report, right? So when you schedule a report, you need to specify a date filter, but every time when the schedule occurs, whenever the schedule runs, there is no scope of user inputs for the filters. So it has to be derived automatically what filters should act on that report. So for that, every time if you specify that, okay, this report is today minus 30 days and today. See, immediately the summary, the filter summary changed, right? So the PO date is between today minus 30 days and today. So whenever this report runs, this date replaced by the dynamic dates. So today will be, if I run this tomorrow, then this will be today is 13th, and today minus 30 days will be 13th minus 30 days. So this would evaluate the date at runtime. So this is very useful feature if you want to schedule it, schedule a report, or if you don't want uh, this filter to be manipulated by the end user. There might be some reports, you can specify the name of the reports, the last 30 days sell or last 30 days stock, like that. Last 30 days purchase order for last 30 for last 30 days or for last 2 months. So you can specify these filters as a fixed filters, and you can deselect this prompt for values, then it will act as a hidden filters automatically in the report. This is very useful features like that. Now, when suppose I have a filter like this, so I have two filters. One is ABC Limited and another one is this date from date to. Supplier, I make all the filters as prompt for values equal to true. And whenever I run this report, this filter prompt will occur, right? Now, if I want that this order date should come as a accounting year. See, whenever I connect in Genesys, I have a work date, right? So, and this work date it falls under a financial accounting period. So, accounting period must have a start date of this period. So, I want this to be automatically assigned to the date from and date to part. Now, here comes the role of parameters. So what is parameter? Parameter is basically some placeholders where at runtime or through programmatically we can programmatic codes we can assign few values in this parameter, and it can be used for any reports. All right. So unlike filters, filter can be manipulated by end users at design time or at runtime, but parameters is basically used by the system teams, not by the end users. But we can assign that parameters as a filter. We can assign parameters as a filter. See, Genesys have already created lots of system parameters, and it is available in our wiki section in Genesys web reports, report system parameters. So there are lots of system parameters available in Genesys web reports, and it has been designed such a way that you can easily find the relevance of the parameters just by its name itself, right? So I must tell you that you should go through this parameters list. There are some parameters which are system parameters which are defined by the Genesys web reports internally, and some of the parameters which are coming at runtime. So suppose display amount, display format, base currency symbol. Suppose there is a date DTFR and DT2. Okay, so it will show, this will show the beginning date of current fiscal year, or the DT2 is, this will show the working date in which user is logged in, right? There is a connected site code, connected site name. Suppose in a report you want to show the connected site name at the header of the report, so you can easily assign this parameter in a report. So there are lots of things. These are the connected site informations, connected site city, phone number, websites, and all. There is organization group. There are lots of attributes of organization group, and obviously there is operating unit, connected operating unit. So you can so you have three things in your hand to show in any of the report. You can show the connected site information. You can show the connected operating unit information, as well as you can show the organization group informations also. So lots of system parameters has been released, and it has been designed such a way that there are few parameters which I suggest that you shouldn't use it. That is also mentioned here. There is document ID, execute from app. So internal hidden system parameter not to be used in any report. It is also written over there. So please follow it and take full advantage of using these parameters in reports. So now let me check whether how to use a parameter in a report. For example, uh, now suppose this is a report and this filter is applied in a report, and I run this report. It is showing me this data. So supplier name is ABC, and the date from date to I have specified from 1st of August to till today. Now let me put two parameters in the page header sections. I add a row and add DTFR and DT2 to show what values it contains, right? So whenever you assign a parameter in report designer, then you have to start with @, then the parameter name, and end with @. So if I tell you I want to show DTFR, then @, and here @DT2, and obviously you should specify equal to operator because it will select as a function. It will return as a function. So here is date from and date to. So one thing you must ensure that all the parameters name are case sensitive. So whatever name is there in this documentation, you have to maintain the same case for taking use for any uh, parameters. That it is case sensitive. So you can just copy and paste it like that. Okay. So let's run this report. Let's see what DTFR and DT2 contains. Whenever you use a parameter in a report, whenever you use, then this a parameter window will pop up, and this parameter window will come before the filter parameters will filter dialog box. So it is always that whenever you use a parameter in a report, then the parameter pop-up will always come before filter dialog box. Okay. So I use this parameter and report whenever I run. So automatically this parameter dialog box will open. And see the date from and date to, it is already assigned over it, and see the accounting fiscal year start date and the work date. If I change the work date, then the to date will automatically change. So this values I can obviously I can specify my own values over here. So suppose if I don't want to manipulate this date right now, and I click OK, then this parameter value would automatically assign to this date from date to if I use that same @DTFR and DT2 as a filter values. How I just show you, just a minute. Now, instead of using the parameter here, what I will do, I will use this parameter in my filter dialog box. In order date, I will specify at the rate dtfr and at the rate dp2. And if I press OK, then what will show? Just check it out. I use the parameter in the report, then parameter window will pop up. If I change the parameter to 11.9, okay, then the same parameter values will take place here. And if I press OK, then the report will run. See, it is coming for this physical year. Complete accounting period it is taking, right? Now, obviously, I don't want to show if parameter is applied, and if I change the date from and date to in parameter, then obviously I don't want to show this order date as a filter. So for that, what I need to do is, for order date, I will set prompt for values to false. Now, if I run this report, then date from date to will come as a parameter. You have to specify the date from date to first. Suppose I change this to August 1st and press OK. And only the supplier name filter will pop up. It will not showing the order date filter. And if I run this report, it will show me only the August month data. Automatically, the parameters the filter value will be replaced by the parameter values. So this is how we can assign a parameter value in a filter and work on it. So whenever you use any parameters, it will prompt as a input parameters. But obviously, not all the parameters will take the input, because in parameters there are options where we can prompt for values also. So there are few parameters, only those parameters can be used. Suppose if I, for example, if I take this connected site code, connected site name, right, and take this as a parameter, and let me put it over here. Run this report. See, that parameter window will not pop up for connected site name, because there are few parameters which are made in such a way that the prompt will come, but not for all, right? So if I run this report, see, connected site turtle limited, it's coming up, okay? So this is how parameters will work, and this is the difference between filters and parameters. Parameters are basically the placeholders where we programmatically assign few values into it, and for some of the parameters, suppose that date from and date to can be used in filters also to get the entire accounting period as a initial value in your filter data. Now let me show you some of the filter options available. Okay. Now see, if I run this report, see, this filter dialog box, this report filters have every options available for the end users, but I don't want this much of options to be available to the end user, because some of the users are intelligent enough to handle this advanced filter dialog box, and some of the users is not that much capable. So I need a simple filter dialog box to be opened, not this filter. So what I want to do? So what I can do is that go to options, and in the general options, there is a filter execution window option. Filter execution window, now it is default. So if there is a three options available here, one is standard with operator, and one other is simple with operator, and third one is simple without operator. So default is basically the standard one that is coming up. That is what it's coming up right now. So if I use simple with operator, then see what it comes, how it comes. If I run the report, see, after selecting the parameters, the filter dialog box totally changed. You cannot put filters for any other columns apart from those which are set by the designer. So you cannot specify other columns. Whatever you have decided, whatever you have fixed in your designer, that will come. But they can only change the conditions. They can only change the operators. So if I change the contains, yes, I can change it. If I change equal, not equal, anything, if I see not equal to ABC, it will come as not equal to ABC. So this is basically an option where you can restrict the user for at the time of taking inputs in the filter dialog box for a report. It is very helpful, but one more thing that you can specify is that there's another one is simple without operator. I think you are guessing, okay, that this previously the filter dialog box is showing only the column that we set at the design time, but with the operators, and now it will show without the operators. Let's see. See, there is no drop down for condition fields. So whatever conditions and whatever columns that you set for a filter, then only those things will come at in front of the user who are running this report. They can only change the values. They don't have any privilege to change the filter columns as well as the conditions. So by this way, you can restrict filtering features for different users, right? So this is very helpful. So let's talk about few other options available in general sections. I hope this filter and parameter part you can play it around. You can use this feature. You can whenever it is required. There is another there are more filter options available, that is this top and bottom. You can use that if you want to get from report that the top 10 suppliers, top 10 customers, you can use that. There is some group min-max filters. These are all advanced options in filters. That is not much of a use, but obviously you can use it. You can take help of our user documentations of reports, and you can check it out. As far as my opinion, this is not that much of requirement, but obviously top bottom is required. You can I'll talk about this in some other webinars. So this is the basic filters that is very much useful for each and every report. This is the standard ones, and other two things are simple with operators and simple without operators. So let's talk about some other features of now there are some other features. Is if some reports doesn't have any value to show, then it will show a message, no data qualifying. Okay, so instead of running the report and showing the report as blank, it will show an alert that no data is qualified for this report. So you can suppress that alert and show the blank report also. That is also possible, to show the blank report and also show possible to show some alert. One thing, whatever is the prompt for values in filters, you always want to show the filter pop-ups. Okay, so it is there in as the options, always show filters in report viewers. It is there. Some of the export types you can specify. You can hide also. Suppose some of the reports doesn't qualify for PDF output because some of the reports have many columns that cannot fit into a single PDF page. So you can specify, you can uncheck this export type options that you cannot export this report in PDF, but absolutely you can export your report in Excel output or any CSV format, but PDF is not possible. So you can, if you uncheck it, then suppose if I uncheck this PDF, RTF and CSV, maybe PDF and RTF, and okay, then if I run this report, so in export section, I will only get the Excel and CSV output, not the PDF and others. Okay, so based on report to report, you can specify this through these options. So some of the things is that there are a lot of formattings available in report, but if you don't want that format to be passed on to the Excel output, then you can suppress this formatting, because it will show the data in a tabular format without any formattings and all. That is also very much required if you want your report. Suppose you create a report and you want that the data should be mailed to some specific person every hour or every day, but the format should be very simple, very tabular one. But if a user want, they can show a report in previewer also, and that report should be formatted. So same report is formatted when you are seeing in report previewer, but when you are exporting that to Excel, the format is disabled. So you can select the suppress formatting options. There are a lot of page options available. There are a lot of page sizes there. So A1, A2. There are, if you can create 8 by 6 paper size, then you can select a lot of papers here. Page orientations, portrait landscape. That is very important. Some of the reports is not specified for viewer also. See, viewer means see, whenever I run a report, basically this is the viewer part. Some of the reports are not suitable for viewers. It is only suitable for PDF outputs. Okay, that you can specify that whether this report can be viewed in a previewer mode or not. Okay, so that you can specify from these options. Fine. So these are the mostly used report options available for you. Next one, that is report previewer part. Report viewer, there's some options also in report viewer, and it is specific to the report viewer part. So as I say, that report viewer is the default viewer of Genesys web reports. Whenever I run a report, if it is not specified explicitly that whether that report will execute only in PDF or Excel format, by default the report will show the data in a report previewer, right? And in this report previewer is very much interactive in nature. Okay, I will show it now that how much interactivity is there in report previewer. And this interactivity you can manage. This report viewer output you can manage through these options. Suppose if you want to show grid, then this report previewer will show the grid. See, it is showing the grids. Now, some of the reports are not made for PDF outputs because there are lots of columns attached to it. So I can deselect this simulate PDF option off. So it will not simulate the report viewer output as a PDF output. So it will not simulate that. So if I unclick that, see previously what it is showing. Let me show you side by side both the values, both the viewers. This is the PDF output. It is totally fitted into a A4 size page, right? It's a PDF simulate PDF on, and now I make the simulate PDF off. See, there is no page sections, there is nothing. It is not divided into page, it is not coming as a page wise report, right? But if you definitely, if you uh, generate output in PDF, it will definitely show it as similar like this. Okay. It is basically required if your reports has many columns in it. Uh, Definitely there will be a horizontal scroll for this report, and it is not made for a PDF output. See, PDF output is necessary when you are going to print that report, right? But when you are not going to print that report, if that is only to extract the data and showing that data in a viewer, then simulate PDF should be off. Okay. Otherwise, Genesis report will always want to fit all the data into a page size specified by you, whether it is in landscape mode or portrait mode. It will make, you will see a lot of columns will be wrapped up in a report. So the entire formatting will be messed if you specify that simulate PDF on for some of the reports. So for that, I would recommend it whenever you want some reports to get printed, then only check that simulate PDF on. Otherwise, it is not required. Even though user can again print that. Suppose if I make this PDF output on and run this report, even if this is not simulating into PDF, but if I export that to PDF, it will simulate immediately. So exporting this report into a PDF format, and see, it is taking the entire page beautifully formatted, and you can take a printout from here also. Even if your viewer is not PDF formatted, but you can easily export this report output into PDF and take a printout from that PDF only. Okay. So based upon your usage, based upon your requirement of showing the data, report requirement, this you can specify, right? So let me show you some other options. See, whenever you view your report in a report viewer, you will see that there is a split button in vertical split. Okay, a splitter is there. If you select that splitter, it will show some of the columns. Okay, what are the columns that you named at the time of designing? This column will show. See, here I named supplier name, order number, order date. The same name is coming here like this. The D and E doesn't have any name specified by me, then it is showing column D and column E. If I want, I can easily unselect whatever I need. Okay, I can choose the columns. So it is basically, if your report is a tabular format report, then you can specify this thing so that the end user have at least that much option in his hand to specify what columns they want. Okay, it is a minimal options that you can specify, but obviously it is based upon your requirement whether you want to give that options or not. If you don't want to give these options, then there is the options called allow, hide, show. Okay, so if you doesn't allow, then this will not show. Okay, everything you can configure in the report. Whatever output is coming in report viewer, the entire options can be managed by you at the design time. How you want to show your report, right? Similarly, the sort options available, whether I want to sort my report based on my date or my supplier name or order name or created by whatever. So based on that, whatever sort you specify, whatever sort you specify in reports, see, I have sorted my report in 3 different columns. Then these 3 different columns is coming here automatically. So if you don't want to show these options, you can easily select and display sorts options to off. It will doesn't show. So it's based upon your requirement how you want to show. For me, hiding this will be a better option for you. So most of the reports are complex, will be complex in nature. See, nothing, this filter is gone. Okay. So because I disable these 2 options, sorting and columns. But obviously there is one good thing is there in a report previewer options. Let me show you. This is a filter options. This is a basically good thing. Suppose I want to filter like supplier name. Say for example, this is a good thing. You can take use of it, but obviously there is a caution that I will mention at the last. Supplier name title is select supplier, select vendor. You can change the selection. Okay. Initially display filter on panel. Okay. Whether it is a single choice or multiple choice, I can show you whether it is a single choice or multiple choice. Okay. Let it be single choice. Title is select vendor. And okay. See what happens. When I run this report and I specify it, okay, maybe see, whenever you specify any filter as null, then the filter will be rejected by the report automatically. Okay. So this is one of the options. If you want all the values as, then you can just specify the values as null. Then all the that filter will be rejected by the system automatically. Now see, all the filters, all the suppliers is showing here, right? Suppose for ABC Limited, 4 pages coming, or Anil and Company, 10 pages coming. Like this report can generate an output of 200-page report. Now, if you want, you can select this split and say select vendors. So you can select vendors from the left-hand side, what report you want to show. See, if I select ABC Limited, then the right-hand side will automatically change and give you the similar output. See, the filter, I haven't specified the filter, but I specify the filter in report viewer, right? If I select Anil and Company, then the right-hand side will automatically change and giving me the Anil and Company data. This is the single choice. I specified here in the report viewer options in filter part, I select it single choice. If I select a multiple choice, then I can specify multiple values of vendors. Sorry, multiple values of vendors. See, now checkbox is coming, right? So if I select ABC and Anil and Company, see these two supplier is coming. Okay. So this is a space that this is the interactivity that's maybe required for you in some of your reports. Basically, like this, we have already developed few reports in financial statement. Suppose if you want this trial balance, run this report. See, these are all the parameters that I'm using, right? So you can duplicate this trial balance and see how this report has been formatted and how filters we specify the parameters, how parameters has been used, and how filters has been placed in this report. So you must make a duplicate copy of it and check it out by yourself, right? And now this is the trial balance is coming. Now if I select the splitter, it is showing me the level 1 to 5. Now if I select it level 4, then the report will automatically change and doesn't show my ledgers. So it is showing me the 4 level report. If I select it 3, then it will automatically change and giving me the 3 level report. So this is how I have created this report so that user can specify their level, specify certain filters after the report data is coming in. It is interactivity part that I added in this report, right? So one thing, one disclaimer is there. If you want to use this viewer filters, so you might suppose you can say that okay, I want to see a cell report, but my divisions or sections will be selected by the user like this, okay, like this report viewer filter. So for that, what we will do is that, what is the difference between two type of filters? One filters that you are specifying at the beginning of the report, and one filters that you are using as a report viewer filter. So there is a two different ways of specifying the filters, okay? But it has a huge performance advantage and disadvantage, okay? So whenever you specify a filter before executing the report, that is this filter. If I run this, this is the filter. So for every report, there is two type of filters. One filter that is used before executing the reports, and another one is after executing the reports. Okay. So before executing the reports is basically putting the where clause and restrict the retrieval of the data. Suppose for this purchase order, if this 200 pages report, it might contain lakhs of records to be processed, retrieved from the database, and show it in your viewer. But if you specify supplier name is Anil and Company or ABC Limited, then additionally one filter is applied, one where clause is applied to that query, and only the Anil and Company data or the ABC Company data will fetch from database. And suppose from 1 lakh records, it will fetch only the 5,000 records and show it to you in the previewer. So this is very much performance optimized. On the other hand, if you specify the filters as a report filter options like this, then all the 1 lakh record will be fetched from the database and categorized and placed in such a format in report viewer so that you can select this at runtime. So if I select ABC Limited as a filter before the report, it will fetch 5,000 records. And if I specify ABC Limited from report viewer filter, then it will fetch 1 lakh records from the database and fetching only 500 and showing it on the viewer. So it has a lot of performance advantage and disadvantage of using this report viewer filter. So I would recommend, if you really need this filter, then please look at the performance options. Just didn't add it just for the sake of it. Please add it and run this report and take the performance and get a satisfactory performance benchmark for each and every report. Just didn't add it just for the sake of it. Okay. So this is my recommendation of using this report viewer filters. This is very useful in some of the reports that I'm showing trial balance, because trial balance actually the processing, the transformation is taking place at the background through a procedures. Okay. And the data that is coming up and is showing in the report is very few. So that in that report, I can easily use this viewer filters. But for stock movement reports or a big set of the report that fetch big set of data, then please always use filters before the report rather than using it in the report viewer. That is my recommendation. So I hope it is clear to everybody. Now let's move forward to some part of collapsible layouts. Suppose collapsible layouts is like this. For example, if I select the supplier name and make it collapse row, then if I run this report, the report is coming like this. All the supplier is coming and there is a icon in the left hand side. If I press that, then only the detailed record is showing. Okay, this is a collapsible view of showing the data. So for any registered kind of reports where one masters, one details, or one master, one detail, layer one, level 2, level 3, like that, you can specify this collapsible view so that at first they will suppose if I show the total of net amount at supplier level, then by default it's a summary report of suppliers. Like the once the summary report is there, now if I want, I can if I select, if I expand this Anilan company, then only I can view the uh, detail of that Anilan company supplier, but it's on demand. If user want, then only that I can show that data. But if I don't want, then I can. If I am satisfied with the summary reports, then it's fine. I don't want to expand. Or if you just right click this icon, then you will get all the options: collapse all, expand all, collapse group, expand groups, and all everything. If I select expand all, then automatically it will expand and give the full view of the reports. So this is some of the tweakings of showing the data. It's some type of jugglery you can make in report designer to show it as per your requirement, and it definitely add value to your reports. Definitely add value to your reports. If you see, there are a lot of options available in reports, but please don't uh, put any options. Don't use any options just for the sake of it. Just you first you need to know the requirement of the users, what they want, how you're going to satisfy their needs. Then only after analyzing the requirements, after analyzing the target audience of the report, then only specify, then only use the features that is available to you. Okay. So collapsible view is there. So let me check out. So this is all about the today's topic. Uh, Let me see whether I covered each and every aspect of filters and general options, report options. Uh, I hope I covered everything. Mostly, I think. Mm, so, okay. Lastly, one thing I missed basically. Well, let me show you that thing also. That is the taking advantage of user reports and startup reports. Okay. How I can take the advantage of user reports. See, what is user reports? Let me show you what is user reports. User reports are nothing but uh, some of the uh, some of the filters, some of the formatting options. Suppose for ABC Limited, or maybe for all. See, for all the suppliers, the register report is showing. Now, if I want to show what are the orders that are greater than 5,500. Okay, so 5,500 value. What are the orders in this report which are greater than 5,500 value? So if I right click on any column, it will come as like this. And there is a formatting options available. Automatically it's coming up. There's a one pop-up is coming. And see, you can select the conditions. So apply to equal values, apply to unequal values, greater values. So what I want is that show me all the, or mark red for all the orders which are greater than 5,500 or which are lesser than 5,500 values. So apply to lesser values. So apply to lesser values and color it to red. And see, you can add a conditional formatting automatically in the report. Okay. So this is basically a viewer options. This is basically a report viewer formatting that that is taking place. And once you save this output, suppose you save these changes, save changes as user reports, means only you have the access to view this thing added to a report. Suppose if I make these changes, if I apply this conditional formatting in the report viewer, then this settings is stored in my cookies, in my browser options. So whenever some other users are using this, or from different machines, or some other user is using, then they are not getting this filter options. They are not getting the red values, right? They are getting only the reports. But when I run the report, then after executing the report, my additional formatting is applied to the report. So this is basically a user reports. It's not a system report. So practically, many users can take advantage of this thing in a very, very effective way, right? And it is basically specific to me only. Whatever formatting I want to add to a report is specific to me, it's not a generic thing. That's why we call it user reports. It's not a generic formatting that is placed in the report itself. So it's a user reports. So that's what that way many options is there. You can specify. Suppose I want this PO number to be a little big. Okay, I want the supplier name to be little big. So whatever formatting I am placing, it is specific to me only, not for everybody. Whenever I run this report, all the formatting will take place for me, not for you. The other users, whenever they run this report, they will see, okay, the report is not coming. The report, whatever you have designed for them, the default design will come. And whenever I run this report, it will show me my added formatting part. So this is the user reports. And lastly, let me conclude with conditional formatting part. So let's start one thing. See, this is one formatting that you are putting in as a user reports. But same formatting I can easily do in my designer options. How? Let me show you. Suppose if I save that, okay. User report is saved, and you can check out your user report, change user report preference. So here in the right hand side there is a settings, change user preference icon. If you click that, you will see there is a user report tab. Whenever you select the user report tab, it will show you that this report is specific to you, the formatting is specific to you, and you can run this report whenever you necessary. If you want to delete this format, then you just delete these specifications from here. Okay, then only it will revert, or you can revert it through these options. Clear options means it will revert all the formatting that you are doing, or that you are specified in this report. Now, through a user report, through user specific settings, I make all the values as less than 5500 as red. Now, through a conditional formatting, I am uh, putting one conditions that values which are greater than 50,000 is showing me in yellow. Okay, how can I do that? See, for example, suppose this is my PO net amount. If I right click it, it will show me format cells. There is a conditional tab. You just click the conditional tab. There is two things that you have to specify. One is action and the attributes. Click add. There is one row is added automatically. There's a lot of actions is there. You can specify the foreground color based on some conditions, or based on some conditions you can specify background color, font family, size, bold, anything. Suppose you want if your value is greater than 2 lakhs, then it will come as bold. Okay, fine. Then you can do that also, or underline, horizontal alignment, anything. Or even you can suppress a row. That is very helpful for any report, right? You can suppress a row or you can suppress a section. Section means that if suppose you have a group, you have a 3-level grouping report. If you want, based on some conditions, you can suppress an entire group if you want. You can page break also based on some conditions. Suppose you can page break if the report contains multiple supplier information, then conditionally the page break happens. That also you can do. Or you can suppress a row also. Suppress a row and suppress a sections. What is the difference in suppress row and suppress sections? Suppress row is, suppose in footer sections or header sections there is another row. Suppose that there is 2 row, 5 and 6 is under header section of PO header supplier name. So this is the section, this is the row. If you want, you can suppress this entire row or you can suppress the entire section. So whatever rows is there in the section, all rows will be hidden. All row will be suppressed based on some condition. That is very important. This is one of the most important things that you should know about suppressing conditionally. So let me do 2 things first. Format cell. What I want to do is format background color to yellow. What is the function? Select the condition formula. Formula is that if I can select that net value from here also, I can select net value, net amount from here, or I can select only the cell value parameter. If cell value greater than 50,000, then mark this as true. That means it will show me in yellow, else false. So if cell value, that means the cell in which I am putting this formula, I am putting this conditional formatting, if that cell value is greater than 50,000, then make this condition as true. That means your background color will be set to yellow. And if it is not greater than 50,000, then make it false. Then the background will not be yellow. So this is the condition I applied, and let's run this report. For ABC Limited, this formatting, this red formatting is coming from user settings, user reports. It is not specific. It is specific to a user. For me, if you run the same report, then this red will not come, but yellow will come because it is set in designer. So this is the difference between your user report formatting, conditional formatting, and a design time conditional formatting. So whatever you set at design time, it will be generic to all the users. And if something is there in the user reports, then it is specific to that user only. That is not generic. So by this way, you can put any kind of conditional formatting in reports, anything, whatever you want. There are lots of, see, in trial balance, through this conditional formatting, all this formatting is happening. This bold, this italics, this green, the blue color, all the things, this underline, everything is coming in this report, uh, and it is done through conditional formatting. Okay. And let me show you last thing, how to suppress a row. For example, see, I have put supplier wise total, okay, in group footer. I have one group, that is ABC Limited supplier wise grouping, and the footer, and the total is coming in group footer, right? See, this footer is applicable if number of orders are greater than 1. Suppose for buyer 1, it is only showing one purchase order. Then total how? Then I don't want to show the total if row is only 1 under that group. And this is a common example, common scenario that you faced. Okay, if your detail count is less than greater than 1, then total is fine. If it is only 1, then total should not show. Previously in Discoverer, we can just check one box in my tools options, and it is just behave that way. But here you have to specify a conditional formatting, right? So let me put it in and show it how we can suppress the total. See, my total is showing in group footer, supplier wise total. Footer PO header dot supplier name. That means supplier name wise, the footer that I specify, the total is there. Okay. Now, how do I know whether this record, whether for a supplier order is one or many? What I need to do? I need to make a count of order number, distinct count of order number for every supplier. What I have to do? One function that I have to put aggregate distinct count of PO header dot order number. Okay. So this is the field, this is the cell where I select for each and every supplier how many orders are there. If it is 1, then it is coming 1. If it is 12, see, if I run this report, what it will come. For ABC Limited, it is showing 11. For accessories, it is showing 3. And like this, for buyer, it is showing 1. Now I put a conditional format that don't show this footer if this count is 1. Fair enough? Make sense? So let's do it. Let's make it this way. Let's format it like this. Order count. And make a format, conditional format in this cell, right? Right click on this cell, format cell, add a conditional formatting, suppress section. What should be the context? Okay. You can, if the aggregate count of order number, if aggregate count of order number equal to 1, then make it true. True means it will suppress the row, and if not, then make it false. then you will not suppress the row. Make sense? Okay. Okay. Suppress section. Run this report. For ABC Limited, it is showing order count, order count, order count. See, for buyer, it is not showing. So this is one of the most common scenario that you will face in design time for satisfying reporting needs. So it is, I think it is clear to everybody how conditional formatting works. What is the difference between conditional formatting in case of a user report and conditional formatting used at a design time, and how you can suppress a row or suppress a sections based on some conditional formatting. So even if you delete this value, then also it will work because the function is set in the conditional format itself. If you run this, index is out of range. Okay. It shouldn't happen like this. Maybe something is there that I need to check. Okay. So here is today's agenda is clear. What I tell you the first that how to use filters. What are the difference between filter and parameters? How to use parameters and filters? What are the various options available in report settings? How to implement conditional formatting? How to take advantage of user reports and startup reports? How to create collapsible layouts, and how to set up print and page properties. So we covered each and everything for today. Let's move to question answer round. If you have any questions, please tell me. If I know the answers, I do definitely give you the answer. Okay. Please put your questions. Is there any compulsion to maintain sequence of page report group header versus page report group footer? See, sections sequence obviously based upon your report design requirement, report design, report format. Based upon your report formats, basically the sequence need to be specified actually. For example, if for this report, if I show you the design, then obviously the page header should come first, then the supplier name, PO head, supplier name as header, then detail, then footer. So if you specify, so how your report will show the data, you need to sequence your sections in that way only. Otherwise, the report will not show your desired result. But obviously, it's not that key. If you create a header, then footer is mandatory. No, you can only create the header. You can the footer. Each and every section is optional. It's not it is not that for a group, if you select a header, then it is mandatory to select the footer. No, not at all. So whatever you require, you just take it and use it in your report. Not everything is optional, but obviously you should know how your data is going to show in your report, what are the levels, what are the groups that you want to do, you want to show in your report. That way only you can design your reports, right? I hope I'm clear, Srikant. So it's now 12:19. I will close this webinar by 12:30. If you have anything to if you have any questions, please put it here in your chat. I haven't received any questions. I know it is very simple today. I don't. I maybe for conditional formatting. You can try it upon. Lots of options are there. Just do it. Each and every report designer have these options, but in a different way. In Crystal, there is some other way to do this conditional formatting. In D2K reports, there's some other way, and obviously in Ginesys web reports there is some other way to do this. So, but it's common to everybody. Want to print total in footer and want to left page as blank at detail section. Suppose detail section is having only one line item. Shrikant, I think it is not actually your question is not that much clear. If required, you can talk to me directly. I will definitely answer your queries. Shall I close today? If 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 you will raise your hand, then I will close today's webinar. One thing I must say that please uh, please present on all the upcoming webinars. It is very important because next webinar is very important. Then I will do a support webinar for every week. In every week after closing all the topics, all the upcoming agendas, then I will start maybe from the second week of October. Each and every week I will conduct a support webinar, and this support webinar I will address all of your frequently asked questions about reporting, because right now you will be facing a lot of challenges in reporting uh, to satisfy all your clients, because right now we are discontinuing our discover feature. So you must know how to satisfy client with web reports. So you should know how to create reports, how to design reports, how to format reports, and how to satisfy your clients. So the more you will use these reports, lot of challenges you will face. And please inform me, please send me all your challenges. I will definitely address to all of it. And whatever challenges you faced, that I will show to all of you, what are the things, what are the new things, what are the tweakings that is required to develop a reports, that I will share in support lab. So after completing all the upcoming webinars from second week of October, I will share a webinar every week. I will conduct a webinar every week to address all the support queries. Okay. Yes, CGST, IGST columns will be exposed in the Friday release. Obviously, next release, all the columns will be exposed. In case of multiple vendor, if I want to put page break after the end of every vendor's registers, then you can put a page break for this. For example, if I put a page break over here, say if I see the page break here, then what will you show? Let me show you. So first, ABC Limited is coming. Then in the next page, accessories will come. Then the second page, third page, Anil company will come. This is how you can page break. Okay. I hope Omio, it's clear to you. It's very simple. Yes, Shrikant, set barcodes. I'll definitely expose that. So thank you, guys. I didn't see any other questions. So if anything is there, if any challenges you face, please write it to me directly. Okay. So thank you so much. Thank you for participating in this webinar, and I hope it will help you a lot. Thank you. Thank you so much.